You gotta settle down, so you can't go out and bark every time you hear something. So I gotta do up buttons now because I'm chasing your butt down. No reason to smile, but there we are, we're smiling. I'm smiling anyway because Zoe decided to soften everything up. I was ready to go. And Puppy's gonna do what a puppy's gonna do. And hi everybody. So we're gonna take your questions tonight. And so I'm just getting started on the question side here. I'm making sure everything is streaming. I'm trying to work everything together. I'll move up a little bit closer. There's a pretty shocking revelation today that all life is missing for 200 kilometers. And it's hard to reconcile with that, I'm sure, for everybody. And that's why we got the question and answers tonight. So here we go. I gotta do a button. Okay. And hi everybody. And thank you. And I was reading most of your comments today. And it's pretty rough, I know. We got this is Terry Daniels. Terry was on the beach taking the pictures. They never got uploaded yet on nuclearproctologist.org. And after this, we'll try to get it started and then finish it off tomorrow morning or when I wake up. We haven't stopped. 10 days. Hardcore what we've done. Hi everybody. I'm catching your I'm trying to catch a comment. So I'm going to stop it on the comments and then I'm going to scroll through the comments and start answering any questions or that we can kind of answer. I don't know if we can answer all the questions, right? And I shouldn't have to answer questions. I shouldn't be having to do this. You shouldn't have to be here, but it is what it is, right? And yeah, hi Ellie, everybody. Adam, Fukushima, other people. That's a good one. Camp Courtney. And the comment section won't seem to stop here for me tonight, so I move it up. Maybe it'll stop. Oh yeah, I got it. There we go. And I'm looking for comments. And for anybody who's not familiar, let me just... Brian says, did we see any fish in any of the tide pools? Well, Terry was the guy. I went down to the beach. I looked at the pictures. Terry?
I've seen no fish, not at all.
You never mentioned a fish?
I've seen no fish.
No, you never seen none. And it took Terry a few days and myself to get up to speed on what we were doing, really. And so, let me go looking for any more. And we're not going to answer the same question twice. We might while we're looking for the next one. But we're going to go... Yeah, so what we're gonna try to do is, I understand there's a lot of people that don't know how to ask questions and that might feel a lot of anxiety that I might take it the wrong way, because I do take things the wrong way sometimes. And I want you people not to take offense if I did that to you or if I does that to you, yeah? And it's not intentional, but by saying that by proxy, I probably won't do it to you, right? Because I think I got rid of all the aggression after 9 days of banging our heads looking for a sand flea. You know, I had to go to YouTube to find pictures of marine life. You can't make that stuff up. And none of this stuff that you see around me exists in anywhere we go. So let me come over to the comment section because I'll get digressing. And we got the Wirecast so we can actually give you pictures or go to Google to show you. I'll scroll back up. And I'll come to the comments. I might miss you. Don't feel bad, please. And so the ocean works this way. Look, what you're seeing behind me, if that was to disappear through ice or volcanoes or anything else, the ocean is a soup of life. And so what it's supposed to do is reseed that whole area again. Now, whether life takes hold there is a completely different story. But it should seed it again. And because of that particular fact is why we should find life into the intertidal zones and into the pools. And so I'm going to jump back to the comment section because that's what this is about. But I want to keep you up to speed. And Missing Sky says, thank you, Terry. Missing Sky doesn't stop, folks. 101. And there's an amazing amount of Fukushima information there. And I got to get all the links below the video to everybody that I normally carry and that I've been complacent for the last couple of days, because this has wrecked my lives and everybody I know too. And so this affects everybody personally. And that's something that really we struggle with every day. And I think we always will. And now what we need to do, Punisher is asking, the original Punisher, great efforts. I know how much work is required. And that's a question that we need to keep asking now, is how much work is required to find out what's going on. And this is where today, in my haste, and you know me, I put myself up in the driver's seat gladly, putting my foot up in my mouth, because I'm physically not capable of doing a lot of things, but I'm going to go do, because this is something completely different. And I need to verify it, and you need to be able to verify it. And so we'll talk about that, but let's get some questions. Will I revisit the same places to see if it's better? Absolutely. We like to have 30 people to go visit them every week. You know, in a perfect world, we like to have the ability to go through the entire coastline. It seems to us we better do it now. It seems to us that the onus is on us to get it done. And it seems like we're the ones now that are responsible for getting the job done. And it'd be better if we could stream this for 60 days, 1,440 minutes a day live, and hit all these low tide areas, and also be able to give you high quality footage and pictures. And I don't think anybody can argue with me on that one. And I think everybody will argue if I try to say that our local institutions should go off and do it, because this is why we're in this position. And so once again, I'm always going to end up looking like the guy who's trying to take over. And I'm the last guy who's capable of it. I'm the last guy who wants anything to do with it. And it's only for 60 days, really, in my world, is how I think about it. And so I have to take a pressure relief mattress to go do anything, anywhere, with me. And it's not something that is easily done. And so we're talking about something that's even, you know, I'm not the person I was. I had a bad accident as a commercial diver. And that's 15 years ago, and it wrecked my life. And now I'm saying I'm going to go back up, and I might even suit up. And once again, if you're going to go up there and dive anywhere, then you have to be completely contained. And now we're talking also about, Terry should have had a Geiger counter, but a Geiger counter, it doesn't work the way most people think it does. You can't really tell what the hell is going on. But if you're to get a high number reading, you're not really worried about specifically exactly what it is. But let's put it this way. If you had a glass of drinking water and you took a Geiger counter, potassium 40 will not show up. You have to take a cubic meter of cubic water and dry that up way out to potassium 40. And like for every gram, it's like 25 becquerels, I think it is, the formula. I can't remember. We cover like 9,000 topics on this. And I've been at this for 9 months. You can go over to the nuclear proctologist, you can see what I'm really like. That's just a headline, type it in and then go read the articles and all the links and all the sublinks and everything else attached. That's what I'm like. And we're to this point where we go out for 9 days and find devastation. And where the soup of life doesn't recede the coastline. And once again, before I come back over, on the east coast, the ice will come in and it'll scrub the coastline. It'll be 200 miles wide, and the wind will push it up against the continental shelf, and everything that's shallow will spill over into the coastlines, and the wind will scrub it, the currents and the moon will drag it all along. And I used to dive and have 1,000 pounds in my air tank and be able to just clang, clang over your head, and I'd be waiting for my spot to come up, and I always had an extra 1,000 pounds left in my tank when I came out, because you don't know where you're going to get out. You might have to come out on an ice floe. And that's why I left the East Coast and came out here, because I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it. Getting squat by an iceberg is just the weirdest thing you can imagine. And it's no fun. These things can really, truly squat you like a bug that we can't find on the coastline. We never found no insects on the highway. Let's come over to the comment section, because otherwise I'll do what I've done all day, and I don't want to do that. So let's keep going. Let's talk about stuff. Let's ask questions. Why just this stretch of coastline? Well, there's 200 kilometers. I'll bring it up for you so everybody knows what you're talking about. And so the 200 kilometers, sorry, hang on. So this is Vancouver Island, and that's 460 kilometers long. And all we done was we had a small budget. We're not rich. We're just normal people. We're just normal people. We're just like you. We work all our lives for everything we've ever had. Nothing has ever been given to us. We didn't go to any Ivy schools, but I did study at Harvard and Yale and Berkeley and MIT and Stanford and Oxford because it's online. And when you're in a hospital bed for a decade, that's a good way to pass time. Listen to these lectures. It's like a new movie or a new song where it has no memory, right? And so instead of waiting for the greatest Hollywood thriller, I just download all kinds of lectures. And I ended up with over 7,000 that I couldn't live without. But that's a different story. This is now and that was then. But what I'm saying is we need to explore the entire coast because we do believe it's uniformly the entire coast.
And we need to see if there's life. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't see nothing.
I didn't see nothing.
That's the damnedest thing. For somebody who's not on the ocean, you know, you've done a bit of lobster fisherman maybe, but you've never ever done anything in decades. And so you to go down there and not even see a fly, not even see a flea, and come back with your just defeated each time, is truly something. So thank you, Ronald, everybody. And double hoop, is that guy's life denial sucks. Time or something else I missed. Because you get people talking to each other. How much did it cost to rent the boat? It was $300. And that was for 3 hours, but you can't go where you really want to, but we were lucky. And we pretty well done we wanted to go out and visit a certain spot, and they accommodated us for that. And at the same time, we had lots of opportunities where we stopped close to shore, and that's all videotaped with a low quality. And so the next day we went and got a high quality camera because we realized everything was missing. It was a shocker. For 3 hours, it was horrifying. I was so stressed out I crashed when I came home just because I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And the next morning I knew when I woke up I had to go get a high quality camera, and that's how we ended up doing what we've done. And because we have access easily to 200 kilometers, that's why we covered that particular 200 kilometers. We would love to go. Now, I covered the entire coast as a commercial diver, and so I know the whole coastline intimately. 315 days a year, 6 hours a day on the ocean floor for a lot of it.
We had to do thing there on the computer.
And so due to the high volumes, click here to continue. Okay, jump me down to the comment section, allows everybody's comments. So let's keep going. So if you're getting a bad connection, we're streaming 1280 by 720. Drop your quality down, and I can't keep up with all the comments. So let's keep going. I'll scan through it. It isn't just the Pacific Coast, Wendy Miller. No, we don't think it is. That's why we want to launch an expedition. We want to be gone tomorrow. We really do. And we're ready to go. We have the capabilities. We have the manpower, and we have the urgency of what we've seen has now driven us. That we understand that we want to do a 60-day window, and we want to do it right, and we want to record it for posterity, and we don't want anybody getting their thumbs in there and muddling the water on us. And we understand the significance of what we're saying. We understand the danger involved in what we're saying, and we understand the animosity towards someone like us with the arrogance in their eyes to do something like this. But they have to understand our point of view. There's supposed to be 5,600 species out there. There's supposed to be 600 species of algae out there, and there's only 4 for 200 kilometers. And if the ocean doesn't reseed itself, because it's supposed to be a soup of life, it means something is broken. And when you see no crows, and you see no insects, and you don't see any insects on the highway, I don't think anybody would expect this. I don't think anybody can rationalize what I'm saying. And I don't think anybody's going to look back on me and criticize me for the urgency that I express and the dismay that I have. Let's keep going. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing to anybody personally. I'm just saying, please don't criticize me for wanting to know. Please don't criticize me for wanting to share that with you in real time. And you can't criticize us because we didn't create it. We're just saying, my goodness, what have they done?
The only way we're going to know the truth is if we go do it.
We have to do it ourselves. And we show you this much,
and
there's no excuses why it won't be the rest of the way, but we got to know. and we can't trust them. We just can't trust them. With the bananas and the X-rays and the ad hominem, the nuclear apologists, the industry, the lobbyists, how they have bludgeoned all opposition to the fact this is going on. That all nuclear reactors are boiling 1 million gallons a minute. They're crucifying everything. 25 reactors in Ontario, Canada are boiling all the water. 25 million gallons a minute. And the people downstream are drinking, they killed all the creatures in the water. At the same time, they're sequestering all the carbon on the planet, and all the phytoplankton are dying, and they sequester carbon and recycle it. And so, like, they're starving the planet.
And us.
And us, by proxy. But because we're further up the food chain, I'm not yelling at anybody. This is my voice. This is what I do. This is my personality. I'm just saying the urgency of it. I don't know how to express it anymore. And you can donate at the nuclearproctologist.org. There's a button there. And we will go do more research. But I can assure you the time is limited. We want to go now. And we don't know that anybody will fund us. But they'll take Woods Hole and they'll go out and find bananas. And they'll give them hundreds of millions of dollars. They'll give them 300-foot boats. That's what we need. We need submarines if we want to do this right. If we categorically want to know. You know, I need the government to step in and say, come on, Dana, whatever you want, we're going to give it to you. And I say, let's go. Yeah. Let's rock it.
Fellow there asked if we can get divers to go under.
Yes, I can get the divers. We can get newt suits and do it even later.
Needed.
Right? $300,000 a pop. That's what they would do. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what the system should be doing. We're not supposed to have to even think about this. It's horrifying that we're even considering this.
We can go with a rain jacket.
And let me show you why. Wow. Is that our prestigious, wonderful areas have went from stuff like that to stuff like this. It's unimaginable. Now I can see it in an event, an anomaly where life got killed off. But it would seed itself because the ocean is a soup of life. And so we're going to assume that the eastern seaboard, the western coast of Canada rather, and the United States, all the way up to Alaska, and by proxy everything else. And so if we go up to the pristine 26,000 islands for 60-day run, and we record everything in high quality, and we have the capabilities now to stream it out, we could do that. We could do that. I'm not sure how much, but you're only talking 1,440 minutes a day. And the prices now could be more than $1. See, and so that's doable for 60 days. And the whole world gets to see it and react. And then in the future, we can set our course to what we need to do. We have 4,300 peer-reviewed academic studies every day. If we just took tomorrow and said, hey, let's solve this issue, do you think for a second that in 6 months or a year, we couldn't have a lot of those issues? I'm not saying we can repair the ocean. I'm not claiming that because we can't stop Fukushima.
We'll see it coming though. We'll get ready.
But we now finally have a true indication of what's really going on. And I'm going to come back to the comments because I'm not supposed to be talking. But once again, you go to the nuclear proctologist. I'm not going to feel bad about saying that. You can donate there. You can donate by, and I'll tell you the transit number. I'll put it up on my site after. But you can go to the Scotiabank. The transit number is 90290. The institution number is 002. The account number is 0078980. You got $100 million. You can look back and say, we found out in 60 days. We didn't have to wait forever. We know. We streamed it live. We provided submarines. We came on board. We took the people, and we carried on with that. That's what you need to do. But we have to be able to trust the results. And I ain't going to trust anything until I put my rubber stamp on it, that for sure that this is legit, before I'm going to say, okay, I can't do that. That's not why I'm here, right? I'm only here, I'm driven.
We're going anyway, Dana.
We're going anyway, but I'm saying, I don't think we should have to wait any longer. It's no longer a game to anybody that understands the basics of marine biology, marine chemistry. And these are the people we used to turn to, and they turned their backs on us. And how are we supposed to go back to them? They told us it was like walking in the sunshine, and like potato chips, and like potatoes, and like the potassium in our drinking water for 70 years? And now we got no ocean? And I'm supposed to trust them ever? No, that's not reasonable. That's not even. I can't even see how their own children or their own families will ever trust them, let alone me or society. And it's shocking that I'm saying that. It's terrible. It's just truly shocking. But we're going to have to try, I guess. I don't know. But we got to do something right now. Not tomorrow afternoon, but tomorrow morning. We got to wake up and make this happen.
Maybe we'll get out there and we'll find something.
And I need to. Yeah, well, I'm going to sleep tonight like a rock, because I know I've done everything.
Must know if it's $100 million we need.
Yeah, well, that's what we need. I don't know what we need, but I do know one thing. We can't do it on a $600 budget like we just done this time. We need microscopes. We need high quality. And anywhere local, we could stream it up to a site right away. Boom! And for $5 a month, it could pay for itself probably. You know, it could fund hundreds of yous out there that are knowledgeable, that we can vet, and that we can now put you to use. And we can solve issues and get out of danger. I mean, they evacuated 7,500 communities at the Chechnya River, right, in Russia back in the 40s, because they had dumped all the uranium-238 and the plutonium and the americium and the strontiums into the river. 7,500 communities permanently, 9,000 square miles permanently. Permanently. Because of fallout, and that spreads out. Japan is contaminated right from one end to the other end. Go over to the nuclear proctologist, look up Canada, where Health Canada said 300 times. 300 times. And I'm not answering questions like I'm supposed to, but hang on. Let me say, I want to say that. That's a calculator. Anybody never seen a normal everyday calculator? I can't help you. But they were talking 7,500 becquerels times 300 man-made radioactive becquerels. They were talking about 7,500 potassium in your drinking water as an example. 300 times that with iodine 131. But let me just finish off on that note. Times 300 and 100. Did I get that right? Right quick. Equals. Oh, yeah. All those numbers. Now, at the same time, that's, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. That's 2.25 million becquerels per second. Now, they found in California 20 million becquerels atoms, radioactive atoms, in a liter of rainwater. That washes back down to the coastline. Now, deeper water, it might be hanging on. But deeper water, what happens is radioactive material will fall down and get sucked back up because it's 1/10,000th of a millionth of a meter in size. And so the nutrients that normally come up with that to feed the phytoplankton, that probably all got fried on the first round, will now get fried up on the second round. Because if you take a radioactive atom and drop it in a glass of water full of 75 or 100 million phytoplankton, you'll goose them to death in a short period of time. Because think of a becquerel as flipping over a grain of sand. That's how you should think of a becquerel. It's enough energy to flip over a grain of sand, to have some actual kind of context of what that invisible particle. Now imagine Fukushima reactors. So each reactor is about 2.2 billion times more radioactive atoms and elements and particles than all the grains of sands and all the beaches on the planet combined. 2.2 million times more. Now if you were able to see that, you would be able to see me now, because there's an invisible snowstorm up on this planet. But because of the heavy particles will wash into the ocean and into disposition, and I'll keep going on. Let me get back over to the comments. Let me keep going, because I get wound up now because what I seen and the frustration that I haven't got a boat and the equipment and the gear to go myself, and the Terry is tasked with it going out and doing, you know, what many of us shouldn't have to do. The institution should have had done. And let me know, I'm not going to harp on that. I'm not trying to be angry about that. And so I'll come down. I'm not catching the comments, and that's not what we're meant to do. We're more about, all I think about is getting back out there and looking at the rest of it. But I want to talk, I want to get comments, so let's go for comments. I'm looking for comments. Dana, calculate pi. It's where, let me see comments or questions, folk. Anybody? I guess we covered so much today, we got no questions. So I can just rattle on. And
pictures tell it all.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm screwing up. Now I got a handle on it. Yeah, so we need to Lingerer Island, which is the top of the Charlottes, up past Masset, and that's the most northerly point in Canada. And I dove it year after year.
You know what you should be seeing when we get there.
We know everything that's supposed to be there. That's very pristine. You can go up to the Charlottes normally. Anywhere in the Charlottes at low tide after a storm, and the beaches are loaded with scallops. Just load and go, like truckloads everywhere. Because at low tide in the Charlottes, it used to be, even 15 years ago, you can go up and break off a 100-pound chunk of abalone and scallops, but you can pick a boatload anywhere you went. And that's why I say we need to investigate the North Coast. The North Coast has 26,000 islands. It would take you 71 years to investigate, just get on every island for a day. And so we need to go up there and look at all the places that I know where there are tens of millions of pounds, and where every rock for sure is covered in sea anemones, and where the shrimps and prawns are just unimaginable. Places where we pulled out 30,000 pounds. I used to go down on the ocean floor when we were doing the city urchin, but I work both oceans, the Atlantic Ocean extensively. But say down here in the Pacific, I used to go down and pick 20,000 of these in a day. And so I knew everything down there, not by name, but I knew there was a incredible community that every single square inch is taken for it. It's rented out to some kind of life, and that the brittle stars will take up everything else, and that everything coexists with each other, and that the predators can walk through, and everybody will make a path. Will literally pardon the big sunfish, all the brittle stars and all the other starfish, and sea cucumbers and everything will roll out of the way. And I used to take sea cucumbers and put their legs on, starfish legs, the sunfish, put their legs on, and they would poop out their guts over a couple of hours. And then when I was moving, I'd let them loose and give the sunfish, the sea cucumbers guts. I know, Dana, you whack job, you. But it is what it is, and it wouldn't be if we didn't do what we do. And right, so this beautiful, unimaginable, healthy, vibrant, stunning, just unimaginably, I'm trying to find a picture for you, has turned into nothing for 200 square kilometers, and we know it's going to be a lot worse than that. And we know it's definitely an issue where we have to deal with it. We can't ignore this, right? So we can't ignore the entire ecosystem disappearing, but we did. And it looks like it all went at the one time.
Because we listened to the wrong bastards.
We listened to the lawyers, manipulators, the lobbyists, whose job it is. Now, lobbyists shouldn't exist. Now, let's come back over to the comments section because I screwed up. I didn't get my comments. Gotta watch me. Yeah, we need quality reports and good video to show what is really happening. That's Rad Chick, Christina Consolo, 100%. And you can find her at Climate Viewer. And she knows, folks. She's done the interviews, and I've carried her words in my heart many times because they're true. They've always rang true. And Lorraine Moret, she 100% right. So many ways. Shocking. That's why she scared us, I guess. Not that stopped us from watching her because she's...
Dang, you see that one there? It says there's been no drop-off in the supply of seafood. And that's why we want to go see if they're still telling if that's
okay, and there's another question.
Find out, right? That's got to be a lie. We know that's
right. We can prove in all of these.
We hope it's the truth. We hope it's the truth.
And how the hell did we end up with this? We went down for 9 days at the low tide line. After you fully nice people gave us $600, we went out and got a boat ride and it changed everything. Right? So pat on the back to everybody. Right, who originally said, you know what, we'll have a go at it. You were right, weren't you? Because when you kept going, what do we ended up with? Well, okay, the bottom, Dana, is this why bottom feeding fish have been found washing up on the U.S. Pacific coast of California? And so my take on that is pretty brutal. So brace yourself, folks, if you're not familiar with me. I don't really sugarcoat things. So the plumage coming out of there 1,440 minutes a day. Yeah, the ocean is 300 million square kilometers. That's pretty impressive. Nobody denies that. But if you look at how the currents work, you realize that it's a lot smaller, and so things can concentrate, and then they can be, when it doesn't stop coming out of there, if it was just a plume that came out of there, I'll get to the point, Paul, but if it was just a plume that came out of there, then there would be no issue, right? You know, it would disperse in 300 million kilometers, but the plume is coming out every day for 1,300 days, and there's a plume every minute, around 1,000 pounds equivalency of radioactive dye. Think of dye like St. Paddy's Day going into your river. And so when that goes every day, after 130 days it hit the coastline in North America, and then there was 130 plumes behind it. And then since then, altogether there's 1,300 plumes. And so whatever plume hits us today, there's another 129 behind it. Because the plumes are traveling at 202 miles an hour, 24 hours a day is 48 miles, times 130 days is 5,500 miles. And when you think about the jet stream, you got to think about the jet streams are actually real. And so that disposition washed down and then is reliberated through convection, through crashing on the ocean floor, through lifting up into rain, and all kinds of other ways. But then the plume finally reached after 130 days. But it was a plume in the air for 130 days, and so the jet streams come straight across. The ocean comes straight across with the Pacific Current. Both of them are coming straight across, right slam into the coast. And now what happens is, if you look at the models of the dispersal models from the aerosols from the Asian countries of, say, forest fires, which are really big particles, yet they are able to easily traverse the Pacific jet streams and find their way into your indexes in North America. And so these particles are so small they don't need any help, but they had a lot of help originally. The detonations were recorded as going 3 miles high at universities in Japan, and also at 5 miles. And there's 3 detonations, and these were MOX fuel. Now I got to get back to the comments, I'm sorry. But what happened was that keeps washing back into the ocean, and the plume, as it's mixing with the South Pacific, I'll finish on that point, it's getting diluted and mixed in with it. That don't mean it's harmless because it's diluting in there. It means it's worse because it's diluting in there. That's like the worst thing could happen. It's like a turd in a punch bowl. Once it goes in there, the punch bowl is screwed, right? No hard feelings for anybody. But that's what I mean. But you know me, I might say the weirdest things, but I'll get back on track. Terry, did you want something to inject anything?
Doing cool.
Okay. And so I'll finish up on that point was the South Pacific, right? The fish, when they're coming from that direction, when they run into the thicker parts of the plume, they can't get any further. And so then they're going to hit the coastline and try to spawn out. And if there's no kelp, they're going to look for anything, right? They'll spawn out on the beach, right? They'll spawn out on rocks. I've seen it before, where there's just an abundance. I grew up in an environment where there's no radars and no sounders, no radars, no sounders. You know, I grew up in the old school where you had an alarm clock and a compass, and you went to the old fishing grounds. And I grew up throwing 3,000 hooks off the back of the boat every day in the dark, 4 o'clock in the morning in the North Atlantic, in 30-foot ground swells when I was 13, hanging on the back of a boat, throwing a hook every 6 feet. And so, like, I kind of had this switch about me. That's why I done the things I done about the ocean, where I'm really tuned into it. Because if not, I would have got washed off the boat. And so, anybody, it's not a story I'm going to go down tonight, but let me come along and grab some comments. I don't know if they'll do a Kickstarter campaign for me. Hi, Jessica. You come by and see me whenever you want to. Checks and balances. I know I don't have any education questions, so I will stop now. Sorry, so much to comprehend. Well, we don't give up hope. We have 4,340 peer-reviewed academic studies a day, and it's all about, you know, how to hide nuclear into every aspect of your life, right? All is simulated. All the studies are not on what they're supposed to be, and then they're all locked away at Elsevier, Springer, and Wiley. And remember, a corporation only got human rights just because they manipulated the slavery laws, right, in increments over decades. And you know, Justice Hugo Black wrote Eloquent Dissent in 1938 of how absurd it was that a law meant to free oppressed black people from an oppressive and tyrannical government was being used by corporations to oppress a sovereign people. You have to think about that statement, because that's not what it's supposed to be. Corporations are supposed to have a charter, and TEPCO would have never got to the point where this happened. Right? So corporation has dominated you. Every community has Starbucks, and so you can't have a coffee shop. Every community has a fast food McDonald's. You can't have a little restaurant to make a few bucks with. Everybody is destroyed because there's no cash in the community. I can go on, and I won't, but I will later. But I mean, we got so much that we can do to change the world for the better and try to end up with something more appropriate than the retarded inbreeding that we ended up with now. That's the reason we're in this position, is because people hire their kids to cover up what they done as government officials. They have lost all credibility and all hope. Even for their own children, we'll never look at them the same that are growing up. We'll always look at them different because they lied to get where they were. They lied to get everything they want. And they probably won't give me a nickel to get where we need to go, to start the way forward. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying we have to come up with solutions. I'm not saying blame, because we still need these people, because they know what's going on, and we need to bring them into, you know, the real world, because the world don't want to wake up angry, because it'll go lynch them in the streets if once it realizes what they got done. We got to control this, and we got to come out and discover what's going on, and we got to come up with a solution. Not a demonization, not a mass panicking, not a mass police state that there's their wet dreams, where they're hoping to pacify us with robots. And transhumanism is the fable to keep you in checkmate mode till the radiation and the genetically modified critters from Monsanto, which are just beyond imagination, because they engineered out all the potassium except for 20 parts per million, all the magnesium. So you're being attacked many ways. And so health is huge, like organic is everything. If you got rid of all the GMO right now, burnt all the supermarket, took it all out, and had a good old GMO burning party, and reseeded it, everybody was required to plant organic food everywhere. And whether we still got the radiation, we know the organic, the energy in that. The comparisons is 428 corn on the cob to get the same amount of calcium as a single organic corn on the cob. And so one of the ways you can change their equation is by not playing in that equation. See? And another way is taking all the universities and doing what they're supposed to do. Come up with solutions. And then implement these solutions. Today, tomorrow, if I was the president of the planet, I can say 4,300 peer-reviewed academic studies on what we're going to do to pay for all of this and how we're going to allocate areas. Tomorrow, though, we're going to work on how do we get rid of the inbreeds and the troublemakers and replace them with the people that are eager to solve the equations and that have the capacity and the energy and the drive necessary. Well, our universities are being robbed of that at 3 a minute. Every minute, 3 academic peer-reviewed studies are locked away from us. That is our solution. Besides DCA, go back through my videos a couple of weeks ago on, and you'll find all the links below it. I'll get them underneath this quick enough, all those links, so you can get back up to speed. But we're going through so much, and I didn't dream I could make it here tonight. And I was like, well, I'm not even going to get the pictures up on the site. I can't. I got to come to a stop at some point, right? Terry hasn't stopped. I can't do what I was doing, but I only need like a day stop, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I got issues that I got to go deal with, and I haven't made it to town. I don't know how long. And so don't worry about that, though. I'm doing that because I understand that we just got what we needed more than anything else. Is we're moving out there right now, and we're moving out with a good narrative, and we're moving out there with a will, right?
Truth.
We're moving out there with just simple visuals that you can't deny, I can't deny. Terry never don't know what to make of it. Hi Thomas, thank you Thomas Ackerman. Folks, you want to go visit Thomas, you'll find these links under my videos. I'll get them back underneath this and a whole bunch of other people. Let's keep moving for some questions, because you know, I think we can survive out here 5-10 years without never knowing about that, the human population, animal population. But there's definitely going to be a blowback if we done that, without trying to get rid of the genetically modified critters on this planet and get rid of the pharmaceutical nonsense and go back to the organic, which has always worked and that we are accustomed to, we are genetically predispositioned for. We don't have any kind of tolerance for the gumption they make of the chemicals. Like, we're in this problem because we grandfathered in 65,000 chemicals in 1981 when we created the EPA. We don't have no environmental human impact studies done on that. And so all of these enhance each other synergistically. And we can't leave any of them out of the equation. And I can't even cover the equation because I'm too excited and Terry's not getting a word in. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. How about the ocean smell?
That's a good one. I smelt nothing. And when he said that, I realized I didn't smell anything. No ocean smell, no death smell, no smell.
Speak up a bit, Terry. And I know you can't normally, you don't speak up, I know, but I'm just saying the mic. Yeah. I got the mic turned up so they all hear you. And because we got the fan and all kinds of noises.
I know
but that
no
really struck us today, didn't it?
That
struck us
wicked.
Today. There was no smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. We seen the comment there. And
I guess if there was a smell,
shocking.
there'd have been bugs.
Yeah, there was no insects. There was no carcasses. There was no skeletons. There was no smell. So that's why we didn't say that particular reason why, but we said there was nothing there. Was why we said it must have happened at the one time, and it must have happened fairly fast. And it must be uniform because we don't see the population receding. And I left you folks with that picture, and that's not the best picture, I'm sorry. But that is the best picture to me because that's what I see every day as a diver. It doesn't exist anymore. You can't find it. That is the habitat, and that is the nursery, what you're looking at, of the entire coastline. Used to have enough protein, just in mussels, not everything else, for the whole planet. And I've said that many times. And you wouldn't hurt the population because there's so much coastline. There's 26,000 islands. And we need to go... We need the freedom and the ability to continue to do what we're doing because we have, I can't call it inspiration, I can call it determination and desperation to know, to want to know, and the necessity to know, and the necessity that you need to know. And I know I don't need to ask anything. I know that people will find their way over in a short period of time because of the enormity of what we're talking about.
Well, Dana, if we get up north, we might still see that stuff.
Well, we hope there's a possibility that we could find stuff like that. We don't know. And like I say, I don't give up hope until I see everything. Unfortunately, not seeing the beaches getting populated again really, truly shakes me, right? Not seeing no insects shakes me. And so I can't say to anybody in good conscience anything outside of the fact that we need to know and that it could exist up there. 26,000 islands. Are you kidding me? It could very well exist. I don't know because it's been coming out for 1,200 days and because of the way the ocean current and the way it washes back out. Everything on the west side of the Rockies is going to wash out to the Pacific. Everything on the east side of the Rocky Mountains, Alberta, British Columbia, type in my section, is going to wash to the Atlantic, right, on the east side. And on the west, so all the disposition when it comes over from the forest fires and from pollution from the Asian countries, the indexes it shows it lingers for up to 30 days, particularly California. California is by far the worst spot you could ever be. It's really bad what's going on there. And I'm not going to try to articulate that tonight, but make no mistake, I'm not going away. Make no mistake that we're going to fight till the very last, we shouldn't have to fight anymore. They need to give up. They need to surrender.
Even if we got to go on our own, we'll still show the pictures when we're done.
Even we got to do this on our own. We're going to do it on our own. We're going to see. I got to sell some. Terry and me have both decided we will sell everything we got to get this next 60 days in to go find it, to find out. And and it's madness to even consider it. I asked Roger yesterday. I said, Roger, will you come? And he said yes. And Roger's been running his boat up to Desolation Sound for 25 years, farming. He sold a couple of his farms over the years, big farms. He built bed and breakfasts, beautiful homes. Trust me, gorgeous, brilliant person, and he's an authority on mussels, on those mussels that are surviving right now. And so that's somebody I can trust impeccably.
And so can you. Right?
Yeah. And so that is we are set up. We're positioned, and I guess that makes us the people. As the twistedest thing imaginable, that we're just boom, boom, boom. Everything has changed so much in 2 weeks. I can barely keep up with everything, and every day is just worse and worse. And now I'm sitting in front of you trying to get rid of this day. This is the day I don't want to look back on. I want to wake up tomorrow morning and say, here's the way forward every day to everybody around me. This is the way forward. We have to know, and before we can do anything, we can't do anything. And as a parting shot, I can say that if we all looked up in the sky and we seen a big meteorite, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't need to, right? Everybody would be working uniformly right across the planet, because it might not take out the entire Pacific pan, but it might take out a city or a country, and the whole planet would go to battle against that rock. And right now, I'm that warhead, I'm that missile, leading the charge. Is Terry getting down there on the radiated beaches with no Geiger counters? Don't know if he should run away. Can't even. But we done that because we understood what we walked into. But it took a couple of days, but it was only because we persevered those couple of days, and we were trying to wrap our mind around how much was actually missing. And because we don't know per area what's indigenous was normal. But then after reading UBC, there's links below this, university sites, the Strait of Georgia, I said, okay, well, there you go. That's the story now. Now we got to do something. Now, I dove all of this, but that's quite a while ago. I dove it extensively.
We'll go see if it's still there.
We want to go see, like, these iconic sites. That is iconic. All along the coastline at low tide. That is something I know just unbelievably well. And that is nothing, but it is an iconic, that picture itself. So I can look with binoculars. I don't need to go up at low tide. I'm so familiar because I worked in that environment so many times. Because I want you to think about this. Working in 10 feet of water on the ocean where the ground swells are picking you up a little bit, well, your hood expands and pulls your head back. And so what you do is at high tide you can work your shallow spots, your low tide line at high tide, right? And when the tide falls, you can move down a few feet and keep going, or you can keep going along that line. But your deepest dive of the day is always going to be your deepest dive. And so if you can position yourself on the falling tides, or you get on a slack tide and the tide is falling, well, you don't get pulled off the bottom because you're 15 feet under or 20 feet under because it's high tide, right? But if you try to work that spot at low tide, you couldn't do it. It's like running 5 marathons. And so 6 hours on the ocean every day was 2 marathons on the human body. And it's something it's really, you have to build up a tolerance for over time. Let me come back to the comments. I never shut up. I know. I'm sorry, folks.
You do talk a lot.
I do talk a lot, yeah. Let's keep going. What life did we see, if any? We never seen any crows. We never seen any of the 140 normal species that are migratory or feeding.
One crow.
We've seen one crow. He was in a picture today. We never seen any flies, any insects. We never seen any. Well, we got pictures. Hi, Red Chick.
You can find a video on King 5 News.
In Seattle. Yeah, it's probably easier thing. They're talking about that's Missing Sky, who doesn't stop. Stacy Anderson and everybody. Tonight's not the night, unfortunately, to go through all the names because there's so many here. And I'm just going to try to catch more comments. How we doing, everybody? 47 minutes. We're still doing fine. Let's keep going. I'll look for your comments. You put them up. Now I'm going to pay attention. And trust me, folks, I only done what you would do if you had the same opportunity. And I appreciate your kindness. Trust me, I can console myself a lot of the way with that. And that gives me the energy to keep going. We will keep going, but that certainly makes it easier knowing that you folks done that today, that you pumped that out there, right, and that you're continuing to pump it out there, and that I don't expect it to really start moving for like 48 hours, but like shocking that in a couple of hours it was moving really good, and we really felt that we had an opportunity, and we're not going to waste it. We're going to make sure we don't waste the one opportunity we got. And not even a penny of it. We're going to do everything possible, and we ideally want to stream live, so let's keep going. Maybe I can get some comments in. Yeah, and Lauren and Radchick, folks, I'm telling you, they nailed this down a while back, did they? What? Nobody can take it away from them. They actually nail it down. You have to know things to be able to keep up with them because they're so knowledgeable. But once you get up to speed, you really find out, right, the nuances that they're Radchick, Christina Consolo, and Lorraine Moret, who I absolutely love with a passion. She scares me, something ferocious, but that's because I get what she's saying, right? I know I don't get it as well, but I at least I'm able to get a lot of the context of what she's trying to convey, and because it's subtle, and that's what the whole thing is. When you got somebody that talented, that knowledgeable, and you really got to pay attention to the way they say things, right? Because they're doing that for a reason. They're not doing that because it's just the way they talk. They're doing it to try to convey to you as easy as possible because they have the experience, right? And so that's why we love those people. Okay, let me get some more comments. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, you're very kind. And Rad Chick, Christina Consolo is a good headliner. She can always come out with the heavy ones. China and Russia found radioactive whales. June 2011. Search it on E&E News. And you can check out, I haven't got that headline, I don't think. I got to get that one. Let me see what else. Starfish are gone. See, I had the 64 species on the coastline. We only see the purples. And Terry was saying there earlier, what was it, McDonald's?
That would be
McDonald's have to serve
starfish fillet. Purple
starfish fillet from now on if they want to serve any fish. But the irony behind that one's still messed up.
What about that double-headed
and Chick put up a double-headed dolphin today, linked there. I love that. That was wicked. What? You know. Let me keep going. That was pretty rough. That was Mail Online. That's a big media. Good picture. I was going to use it, but I was afraid he might have copyright. I'm wary they can take me down with something so simple. Dana Terry, I don't know. Yeah, folks, trust me, I thank you, folks. I thank you for what you've done today, that you got this out there, that everybody went to work today, didn't mess around. And Radchik, I missed her comment, but Linda Menendez sent her about dead. It scrolled and I'm like, I gotta watch what I'm doing because I lose comments if I'm not paying attention. Oh, there's Lauren Moret. Woo! So Lauren, that's her website, folks. You can find her on YouTube now. So you'll see it there, LEURENMORET. Yeah, and the shocking, isn't it, Lauren? And I probably won't be able to keep up with your comments because everything's cutting through. And you can contact me at Hotmail, Dana Durnford, DURNFORD at hotmail.org and at live.com, both of them, Dana Durnford. And you can phone me, folks, too. I'll put my number up on Nuclear Proctologist tonight. But let me get 12 hours sleep. And if somebody got interviews, any media want to get hold of me, anybody that really got something they need to get across, you know, you go ahead and we'll touch bases, right? But we'll try to keep it short because I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of them. And we just want people to know that I'm real and that I'm available and that I'll be back here many times, and that you can reach out to me, and that if I can find you, I'll reach back, right? And if we can build this up to work it out. And so Lauren Moret was asking, what about the orcas? We didn't see none. We didn't see any kind of marine life whatsoever breaching water. And we know we got headlines. The killer whales are expected to have 1,000 becquerels a kilogram. Now, I lowballed the weight of them, and I ended up with 5 million becquerels in an orca whale as considered normal. And I thought that was really telling. And so we didn't see any life at all. No, we never see no whales. And of course, there's nothing there.
I've seen a seal, remember?
Now, we've seen a couple of seals. We did see a couple of seals, and so they could eat fish. And so you expect to see whales eating, like especially the killer whales. And you wouldn't expect to see a single killer whale because they don't travel by themselves. And if they do, you want to get out of the water because that's considered a rogue whale. Now it's probably considered a desperate whale.
Maybe we'll see when we hit up.
And we're not seeing the population. That's a brilliant question, by the way. And we never see no, Laura. And just a quick one, no, we not. And no porpoise. And we usually get a lot of coastal porpoise. We might see a couple of hundred feeding along the shoreline. It's not unusual, putting off a big show. It's not unusual. We used to have a couple of hundred big sea lions, and I'm actually scared of sea lions. I've been chased off the ocean floor at least 300 times because I can't cover my fear of sea lions. They've never hurt me. They've never touched me. I just can't deal with the 2,000-pound presence that flicks around me and treats me like a bar of soap in a bathtub, or like a dish rag in a sink, where I got no control with the wash. And so I don't see any of them, and that's really, but you know, it's really odd how this has played out over the last 9 days, where no birds, no crows, no eagles, no cormorants, no tickle-ass, no egg downs, no turs, just very few seagulls only, and none of them are feeding. Normally they're picking up. So at low tide I expect to see a lot of creatures feeding, and see a lot of creatures running along the coastline. Now I got to go out at night time with lights and look for prawns and shrimp in the mud at low tide, and I got to look for raccoons and everything that'll come down to feed on that, and they'll come down and eat urchins at low tide. You should see the deer coming down to lick the salt off the rocks all along the coastline at low tides. This is something I'm very familiar with. And you'll see wolves will come down and eyeball you, telling you better keep your ass out there, boy. We get your hand on you, you're going to give you. I've been hounded by badgers up there on Banks Island. Chased me up a tree, kept me up there for like 4 hours. I had a stick with a knife on it to fend him off. And I won the battle on that, but he hounded me all the way back to the boat, and I had to swim offshore. He wouldn't give it up. And the boys were laughing at me, calling me a wimp. Afraid of a little black thing. What's wrong with you, Dana? I digress. Let me keep going, folks. Let me keep going. What you're seeing is missing off the entire coastline. Let me give you another picture. Today was all visually stunning, I know, for everybody, and that was on purpose. But let me give you another picture. The snails are all missing. Now, these were predominant in all the rocks, and the rocks we're talking about. And now tonight I'm not really showing you anything. Tonight was supposed to catch comments, and I'm going to catch Lauren Moritz. Shows right up under my cursor again. It's like magic. Dana, they are nearly 2,000 fission products produced by the nuclear reaction. Right. The chain reaction. These are what we call man-made radioactive elements. Yeah, I like hearing you say that. Thank you. And cesium is just one of them, but Oak Ridge and the Department of Energy do not mention them. Right. And so I think I equated out to 2,800 when you put in some of the other equations for directed energy weapons into it, that they're creating secretively in the techniques they're using. Right. I'm just postulating that from what I heard them say over the years. That didn't mean much to me back then, but I took note of it, and like that's how it works, I guess, right? And so here's Lorraine Moret saying, now she worked at Los Alamos for many years, and has graced us tonight because she understands the significance. And I should have, I don't know how to ingest people in, but I can now with Google Plus, right? And so anybody can phone me. I'll put the number up actually after I wake up tomorrow on Nuclear Proctologist. I'm sorry, I need 12 hours sleep so I can collect myself. I will be back tomorrow night, right? But tomorrow is going to be about, here's the way forward. That's the way my mind is going to work from here on out. But the way forward is we got to go find out. And I don't know what to make of that side of it, outside of the way forward. Now, I gave you a bad picture. Let me give you a good picture. Now, this kelp is the only thing we see. And we also see the green cabbage kelp. And so that's the only two vegetation. The other 600 algae, these are algae, are missing. And so the insects and the larvae and the flies and everything that would feed off of that, right, they will die off because they can't. Now, we had an abnormality at a Puget Sound a few days ago. Everybody knows about that, is paying attention. Was the fry from the salmon hatchery in Puget Sound. I can't remember so much. A few days ago, it came out when they hit the salt water, they died. Well, I wonder what that was. 1,330 plumes. Let me come back to the comment section because I got a tendency to go off, and I understand that we got to get information rolling. Dana, I have a question. No, I don't have a microscope, and we need to do that.
We talked about that the other day. Remember?
Yeah, we talked about it today and yesterday too, and the day before a little bit. You brought it up actually originally, Dana. We need to get a microscope and put that up on the website. And we might not understand what we're looking at, but people like Lorraine Moret and Rad Chick, Christina Consolo certainly will, and anybody else, and everybody else hopefully,
well,
right,
nothing's moving,
will help us.
Wrong.
Everybody else will help us, right? And yeah, you might have become part of this and not understand it. And I understand that paradigm, okay? I really do. You got to believe me when I say that to you, that I'm sincere in that. And so you can contribute, you should contribute. and you can contribute by commenting and giving correct information on topics that people are having problems with. But you can't contribute by muddling the water, because we'll figure that out. And when we do, right, we'll resent that, and it'll inflict all the other people out there that are trying to help us, because we will learn not to trust people, but we want to desperately. We don't want to go this alone, right? We don't want to do that. It's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is bring some order back in, where we bring back to the proper balance, where we're the checks and Terry's the balance, so to speak, right? And then that has to be taken into consideration, or those people go. They're gone. And I don't care if we throw them out the windows. I just don't care, because it's too late for being nice anymore, but we'll give them that opportunity. They can go the easy way, or they can go the hard way, and the hard way is not going to be that hard, trust me, because we're having our own way, whether they like it or not. There's no debate about that part of it, right? So they got to do the moral or the ethical thing, or we're going to rout them out. And we're going to do it morally and responsibly and politically correct too, because it'll be the consensus. And if they want us to take them down with a consensus, we'll do that too, right? We're going to have some kind of resolution to what a solution at 4,300 institutions are going to be every day from here on out. It's not going to be no longer about the lobbyists or about corporate personhood, because as far as I'm concerned, that's dead too. And the corporate personhood that goes with that, that's the end of that, or there is no future. We ought to take a stand, and it doesn't have to be a revolt. All it has to be is common sense. And now hang their heads in shame, in the hopes that everybody don't lose it and hang you in the street, because that's probably what's going to happen unless we get our way and we get an opportunity to have another narrative that actually makes sense, that actually shows responsibility, that actually shows compassion for the 8.8 million other species that don't got a voice. And I'm not yelling at you, I'm yelling at the ones that never gave them the opportunity and knew the difference and wouldn't allow them to have an opportunity because they wanted another paycheck, because they really truly thought they were going to get a pension, which is the biggest joke for the rest of our life, is to have a nuclear pension. Yeah, well, I'll get it when you get your nuclear pension check, right? Don't worry, you'll get that when you've had yeah, you got better chances of getting a nuclear proctologist up your butt than you'll ever get getting a nuclear pension. I'll make sure of that. Trust me. I don't forgive on this one, but I do forget. I'm willing to move on. We have to do something desperately, and we have to do it right. We got to find out. Let's keep going.
It would take all of us.
Yeah, and I can't catch everybody, and we all know how much I love Lauren Moret, how much I respect her. When I say I love her, that's what I mean. I respect her, because I've been following her for so many years. I'm not buttering her up. Trust me, I'm not. I'm making sure she understands the only opportunity I'll ever get to tell her, just in case that's the only opportunity. Because you know me, I don't pass opportunities, right? That's the game. And that's how I got to where I'm too, and that's why I think and act and create things the way I do. That's why I make these stupid mini documentaries for year after year, to the point where I got to do something different. Here's Wirecast. Okay, let's give that a try for a while. Hey, I like it. It works. It really does. I know. I like to fool around, but I can't fool around today. I haven't fooled around for 9 days. I don't have my humor, and I want that back. Right? And I got it back because you guys pushed out that first video, that big one today. That's important to me. That's important because I think everything is there that I need to convey in a tight package. I almost pronounced every word. Not bad for a Canadian, eh? Pretty good. Most Canadians, we live in igloos. See, I can't even go down that path because it's just no fun anymore. But I got to do a few laps because we got a big road ahead of us. We really, truly, we're cutting edge. We're the ledge, right? And we're going to take back what's ours, what's left of it. Not much left of the Pacific. Probably nothing left of the coastline too. But we got a couple of years at least leeway to deal with. Maybe we can stop Fukushima. Like none of this matters if we don't stop Fukushima. But it matters to the greater good that we document this. That we get it before it disappears. If that's because the ocean should recede the beaches. right? That should always happen. You have a bad storm, it wipes out everything. Plow goes down, wipes everything. Ice comes in, whips it all away. Come back 6 weeks later, the friggin' babies of everything everywhere. The ocean was a soup of life, soup of life. It was amazing. No, like a drinking glass of water with 75 to 100 million phytoplankton, not mention everything else. That's the soup of life. And that doesn't exist in our little area. For 200 kilometers, then it must be a bigger area. And then if it's a bigger area, so big, say that it's Canada, then we're going to assume it's all America. And the easiest way and the simplest way to move forward now is, unfortunately, we're going to have to do it ourselves. We can't rely upon them to help us. We can't even trust them to help us, but we're going to have to want to. We're going to have to try. We're going to have to try to put aside our differences, because of the enormity of what we're up against. We need their cooperation as much as they need ours. But a lot of them got to be replaced. They're not getting no pensions. A lot of them got to give stuff back. A lot of them now, their academics career are finished. And that hurts, I'm sure. And I sympathize with you. But that is the way it has to be, so everything else can live. You must go. But you can convert. You can be a part of the solution by taking your skill, your knowledge, and abilities that you had, but that you could never use, and now use it for something good. No, that's a cool idea. That could work, but it needs supervision. Maybe with whips in their hands. I'm not sure. Certainly they need to be watched forever. Look what they done. Right? My goodness, look what they've got done. And we need to go find out. And we can't find out because we're in this paradigm right now where we've done everything we've done the way we had to do it. And we have the understanding that we know we can do, if we had the gear, we can do better than anything out there. We can do it more authentic. We could stream it live. And that's what I think tomorrow night we'll have to talk about more, but you know, that's what my heart is set on now, that we have to spend 60 days now, not in a few months, but now, see? And that's what makes this tricky. That's what makes this really bizarre. And you know what? I would love to go up there and find it populated with life. And everybody will make fun of me for the rest of my life. That will give me no more greater pleasure than everything put together that I've enjoyed my life. I will smile every time somebody says, yeah, that's me, man. I'm the dummy. Yeah. I'll be proud to be that guy. Trust me, I will. And so we need to go find out whether I'm the dummy. Unfortunately, I don't play that part very well. That's why my life has went the way it did, right? That's why I've done the things I've done. And that's why I know the ocean so well. And that's why I succeeded where others have failed. It's because I'm there until the job is done. Because that's what I was raised to do. And that was the only thing that worked. When the job is done, clean up the mess behind you and give yourself a pat on the back and get a shower, go to bed and get up early and get started again. That's the way life was. We done at 3 o'clock every morning, and now we have to hit every tide for 60 days, right? So there'll be no regular sleeping hours. There's going to be total pandemonium. And I don't think I want to do an extended trip. I will if it's necessary. We like to set up, ultimately we want to set up a foundation to set up cameras and outposts in all the communities and feed it live out to you folks. So everybody got access to everything at all the time. All the cameras. If we can go up there with cameras on a boat, everybody gets the same answer at the same time. I don't know what could be possibly better than that. And I could do that. You know me. I could pull it off. And what we can't get up through the bandwidth, we can upload in super high quality when we get into a community. Right? And so we could do this. And we can do it in a 60-day period. That is the end of the debate and on with the solutions. See? But right now, the biggest solution, the biggest nightmare we got is we got to stop Fukushima. We got to stop it. And the homeless can't do that. They're running out of them. There's no more time for sugarcoating things. There's no time for baby steps. There's time for real action. So if we were to take plows and hook them up with pneumatic hydraulics and take gamers and give them high-powered cameras and drones and blimps and everything else so they can access visuals at Fukushima, they can go in and clean it up with miles of hydraulic cords behind them, no electronics, all electronics 2 miles away, and run those cables in there with other robotics that are running on water. that are running on air, that don't have any electronic parts. Don't tell me we can't put that together. The reason we can't is because we don't take 4,300 universities tomorrow and go solve that issue, because they're carrying out a eugenics against our planet. And they fear what is happening today more than everything put together. This is what they fear, is that you say, you know what? Fuck them, Dana. We're going to do this. They're done. They can't live in the sunlight. They can only live in the dark. The minute you shine a light on them, they have to run away. We shine at the light on them today. And that light will shine, I can guarantee you, till the end of time. And most people will look at that video in disgust of what they've done and will curse their names, even though they don't know their names. But the energy and the hate going out to these people is deserved, but has to be directed. And has to be flowed and controlled and put to use and put to solutions, right? And that's what we can do. I know that sounds like Dana's got a witch's bro going there in his little back pocket. You better believe I do. Don't you think for a second I don't have solutions, and I told you many of them tonight. You just got to give us an opportunity to prove we're right or prove we're wrong. That's all you got to do. It's up to you, though. I'm dependent on you. I rather all of you gave me $5 each any day. I rather see that there and smile, knowing that there's people out there. I don't want anybody that's impoverished to give me money. You don't need to. You really don't. We just need one donor to find us and finance us and leave us alone, and to and console themselves that they done everything they could because they were able to, and we changed the game immediately. We can change that in days, literally, get things back to where we have a lucid debate and a lucid discussion. Is that asking for very much? You know, most people compartmentalize. They don't understand the big picture. The big picture is what I showed everybody today. And that picture has to be complete. That puzzle is very close to being finished. And we need to go do it. I know I keep harping on it. Let's come back over. We're up over an hour and 10 minutes. We'll give it up. We're not going to keep going all night. I can't keep up that pace. Or can I? I could go all day like that. I really can. I can go all day and talk about my diving nightmares. I can go all day and talk about the passion that drove me to do the things that I done. And that I can talk all day about what Terry went through in 9 days, where he went from daylight over 9 months, understanding everything, to the realization there was nothing there, to the point where we can't stop, Dana, until we go all the way down to the islands, because that's what we can do. And so we're going to do that. And like Terry said, we can go down to Vancouver. I said, Terry, it's 1 million people. People will blow it off and marginalize everything else. Say, oh yeah, well, it's polluted down there, even though we know it's not. And I dove Horseshoes Bay. And so I know, personally, figuratively, and, you know, we didn't smell nothing. We see nothing crawling. We see nothing alive. We see this kelp. We see 2 types of algae. This common kelp known as kelp. I always have a hard time with that. Kelp, because it doesn't sound right with the ocean, right? Kelp weed, because everything in the ocean is so useful. Because herring and everything would go in and lay their eggs on kelp weed. And bull kelp, of course, they love bull kelp. And that is all gone. Let me give somewhere another picture. We'll go over and try to take a few more questions. I really want to drive the point home on what's missing. So what we're looking at is what is missing. And it's every inch of the coastline, except for a scattered spot, should be like that. The kelp forest should be everywhere. Birds should be diving down, feeding. I've had birds come past me. Now we'll come over. Terry, you got anything you want to add before we call it?
No, you're doing good. Dana, all's good.
Yeah, we rocked it.
We
That's what I do. Terry goes down and gets all the data.
We just
gets the rad. Terry goes, gets his counts, his rads. I sit in the truck and go, yeah, I'm going to have another cigarette. Terry's down there sucking up his daily doses of who knows what, because we can't get a Geiger counter that'll tell the truth. We'd rather not know till we got the job done what's there to tell you the truth.
We need to go.
We need to go, though. That's the whole thing, folks. Let's keep going, right? Need to stop the airborne. We need to stop Fukushima and everything else. Yeah. All the universities are complicit. That's what Laura and Moravette, yeah. She knows. She sees it all the time, but she has to walk a fine line. The government funds the university. And 66% of scientific research funding comes from the Department of Defense. And they got nothing at stake. You take McAllister's bomb manufacturing facility in McAllister, Oklahoma, ask Lorraine Moret about that. She'll make you cry. Trust me, she'll make you cry. And it'll be okay, though. It'll make you friggin' cry. And I'm not going to tell you because we've done enough of that today. But don't think might not tell you tomorrow, because that's how I roll. I can't really sugarcoat things. Me mother never taught me how to be like that. And we didn't do that. So if you ask your brothers or your sisters for a favor, they didn't hem and haw. They said yes or no. And then you went and asked somebody else, or your friends, or your cousin, or somebody, see? And so there was no animosity because you didn't hem and haw. It was a simple yes or no. And that worked, right? There was no hard feelings. Yeah, you got some old Indian head rubs and some pinches because there's your siblings, but it was cool. They were able to go off and still keep on their schedule and try somebody else, right? You didn't hold them because you were afraid of hurting their feelings. So I kind of missing that in my life, even though I do always think about it. Okay, thank you, Terry, for your help. Ronald McKnight. Everybody else, I'm not going to try to say goodnight to everybody, but we got a good poke in there tonight. We covered a whole bunch of what was important I couldn't cover today. And we got good night, Radchick. It's a great show for us. Thank you. We really appreciate your support. And everybody, of course, but we absolutely love the people like Radchick who put themselves out there on TV and have radio shows. You can find her at climateviewer.com, and you can find Lorraine Moret under my other videos. Go back a week because I haven't put my links back. I'll get them under these videos if you're watching it later. And you'll find her YouTube under her name. And you'll see me. I can't even. Let me come back over. Yeah. Amthurs. Hi, Amthurs. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you always for your support. It's really, truly inspiring. The way you folks are. You know, you're very gentle, a very kind, a very loving, and I'm very fortunate. And I had thought about that when I came out very hard today. And that's why I left that comment an hour before I came online to brace yourselves. Because you know me, I won't do that, right? There has to be something, really something for me to come out with that strong of a language. Hi, Stacy. Stacy doesn't stop. I still haven't checked my email, Stacy. I know you sent me that picture. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. You'll see it show up. nuclearproctologist.org. I love that thing. And that's because I haven't stopped and Terry hasn't stopped. But we're going to stop tonight. This is in the... So everybody needs a water filtration system. Lorraine Moret gets the last comment of the night, and a brilliant one at that. Okay, folks, good night. We'll catch you. We're going to update everybody tomorrow night. And we had an incredible 10 days. Today was, like yourselves, very stressful. Don't think it's going to be any different tonight for me or for you. I don't think that way. Right? And that's why I'm going to be back tomorrow night, so you got somewhere to vent. And so that we can talk more about solutions and a way forward. You know, we'll point a few fingers. You know me, I can't contain myself sometimes. Yeah, well, I don't have it in me anymore. I don't have the animosity anymore, right? I really don't. I can still say it, but I just don't feel it. And so I'm probably going to have to give up that part of my life because I want solutions and I want inspirations. And I want to see 4,300 peer-reviewed academic studies getting switched on to dealing with some of the issues that we're facing.
Tell everybody to turn their outside lights on and see if they got bugs around it tonight.
Yeah, and here's a solution, just out of curiosity, because I'll feel good. Turn your lights on and see how many bugs you can attract at night. And if you see lots, feel good, okay? That's a really good idea. And, of course, the opposite of that is, well, I'm not going to say that one. But you know what I'm talking about, so. That doesn't really work, does it? Okay, I'll just shut up before I get myself in trouble. Hugs for everybody. Trust me, my heart goes out to everybody today. I know how hard, how brutal this must have been, because we went through it, and it was really rough. It still is. We'll see you folks tomorrow night. Hold your head up for what you've done today. Really, 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 truly cool. That was, folks. Take care. We'll do it again tomorrow.